We are back with a Thursday edition of the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. And I don't know if you might find this unfortunate or not, but I will be doing the show solo today because don't worry, boys, we took care of him. He's in a hole somewhere. So it's just me. Yeah, that's right. Oh, happy Bobby. Happy Bobby. The fans might, will not like it. They may like it, It is what it is, but that's what happens when people talk poorly about my boys.
Man, it's just terrible that you would kill such a great.
Whoa! When did you get here? When did you get here?
What?
He got out. Who let him out?
Charles Barkley just left. What?
Who let him out? Who let you out?
You don't know this. I'm a master locksmith thing. Okay, that didn't work.
Are you like Chris Angel?
Yes. Like Chris Angel in the draft. Yeah. Bobby Bonilla is confused.
Confused Bobby.
Confused Bobby Bonilla.
I don't blame him. Well, Andrew Valentin got out. He got out.
I'm alive.
Chris Angeled his way out.
Yep, I'm alive in one
Until
piece.
next time.
Yeah, I will probably pay the price for what I have done. I know I will at some point down the road, but I'm glad to be here with you, not bleeding from any part of my body. Thank goodness.
Yet. If it was going to happen, it would have happened yesterday.
Right.
We're over it.
Yes. We love each other on this show. When we're on this show.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we got another great show again.
Absolutely.
Starting off with some Chicago Bulls.
Let's do it.
A little recap on the season. Wasn't exactly what we hoped for, but at least it wasn't a sweep, right?
Right.
So they did what they could.
Yeah.
They end in a 4-1 series loss to the Milwaukee Bucks, who look still pretty strong.
Yeah, they're defending champions for a reason. I listen, I called it, by the way, on the 4-1. I'll just say that right off the bat. I called that. I had faith. Unfortunately, faith kicked me right in the crown jewels, unfortunately, on this one, and said, no, sorry, not gonna happen this time. So
I think they kind of fooled us after games 1 and 2. Even though they lost game 1. The performance that they put on defensively and still offensively, we thought going forward and then getting the win in game 2, looking really, really good doing it. You thought there was going to be more, and it just wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to them, obviously, but I think they kind of used up all their fuel, if they will, in the first leg of this thing, in those first 2 games. Because, I mean, we watched game 3 and certainly watching game 4. I think we can both probably say they were probably pretty burned out.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying think too much. They're trying to overextend themselves. There was a lot of trying, but
right, and that's what we saw. They had to give maximum effort all the way through game 2 to win.
Yeah,
and give it everything they had. And again, they seemed a little out of gas, like they didn't have much left, and that's what it would have taken. 4 straight games of giving it everything you had to have a chance to win.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I blame the gas prices. If they would have been lower, they would have had more gas. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but all props to them, obviously, for a good run, nevertheless.
Absolutely. It's a overall, it was still a successful season compared to what we thought we were getting from the start.
Absolutely.
So, this team, they started to check the boxes. Rosen scoring, Caruso and Ball's defense.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of the highlights of some of the highlights of the season.
Yeah.
What do you see from these guys going forward, going on to next season, and you see them continuing to be these guys that are go-to guys for this team?
Yeah, well, the plus side obviously is that you have your leader in DeMar DeRozan, right? He is quintessential, veteran leader. Certainly he's a speaker in the locker room. We saw Caruso. He's got that, I have a championship, so I'm going to, voice myself. He's also a veteran too. He was the best defensive player on this team by far, with Lonzo probably being, I would say, maybe their second best defensive player. Obviously missing him, you saw the difference in his game. He's become a solid 2-way point guard for this team now. If he would have been there, he obviously is great pushing on the fast break. He's precise when it comes to his passes. He's really good on the perimeter because of his length and his quickness. So not having him, obviously, I think was a huge difference maker down the stretch as well as going into the playoffs. I know they're taking their time now with him, which I'm all for. Like, take your time. Don't rush it. Let's get you healthy. Let's get you back at 100%. We want you doing what you're doing. Like, Karnisovas was giving all the numbers on him. Like, we were missing his 42% from 8 3-pointers he was taking per game. And, like, he was giving all the numbers on, and it says how good this guy really was. So I'm glad to see that they are taking those initial steps to say, we have our go-to guy. For the time being, we have our go-to guy right now in DeMar DeRozan. We can say we can rely on. Looks like he's going to be there. He's locked in. He's ready to go. He's ready for next season already. Caruso is going to be a great guy coming off the bench. He's probably going to be your sixth man for a long, long time, unless you can find somebody else. But he's going to be, I would say, the leader of that bench. And once you get Ball back, he's going to be the commander, the field general. You're not Chris Paul, but you're essentially what Chris Paul is to the Suns. I think is what Lonzo Ball can be for the Bulls. Not going to score a lot of points, but can be the commander in control at the point guard like you need him to be.
Right. I think losing Balls during the season was a big loss for the team.
Absolutely.
Not all the things you mentioned, but also his court vision. He was the guy that got the offense moving. And you saw what happened when this offense would push the ball and run.
Yeah.
They would score.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the positive things that they did in game 2 to step up and beat Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were seeing those things, again, his court vision is really, really good.
It's outstanding.
Yes. So the way he sees it and can make that full court pass even and to an open guy down court. And then it usually ends well.
Right.
So losing that was a big deal. Caruso's defense, again, losing him for a good portion of the season as well.
Yeah.
And then in the playoff game, not having him, not having Levine, it was tough. It was tough to get through. Now the big question comes. Okay?
Yeah.
Along with these guys.
Yep.
We've got one more shooting guard in the room who might have a big payday coming.
Yeah.
And I say might because, well, he's testing free agency.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to experience that.
Oh, yeah.
And has he done enough in your mind to warrant $200 million contract?
Oh.
And then do you think he's going to sign that big contract with the Bulls and stay here?
So the first part of the question, do I think he's worth $200 million? Unfortunately, I don't think he's maxed out at that deal at this point.
Plus.
$200 plus million, right, yeah. But for that max contract, has he done enough? I don't think so. Now, granted, he's a great scorer. His defense has certainly taken a step forward, I would say, in the right direction. Obviously, the injury is now going to become a concern. He's now going to have surgery. So now you have to kind of question, what kind of player are you going to get back? Are you going to get back the same Zach LaVine? Because if you're going to pay this amount of money, you want to make sure you're getting the all-star player we saw at the beginning of the season. That was one of the top 10 scorers in the NBA with DeMar DeRozan. That was leading this team to a number 1 seed in the East. We obviously that's the dream scenario, right? Now, will that be the case? That's the ultimate question that needs to be answered. So, but I would personally say myself, I don't think he's worth it. Do I think the Bulls will pay it? I do, or at least maybe something close to it. Just simply because when I keep looking at the free agent class that's coming out, and it's a good free agent class, there's just nobody that I feel like is going to commit to Chicago just yet. They might be intrigued by it, but Levine's the one that's here. I feel like he feels comfortable here. I know he's going to explore free agency, but if he feels like the Bulls are the best fit, he's going to ask for the price, and I feel like the Bulls are like, we don't have another option. Unless somebody comes out and says, like Kawhi Leonard or something like, yeah, I'll come join the team. Like, oh, well, then by all means, please come on in. Like, we will take that all day. But otherwise, I think Levine is going to be it's going to be a you have no other option kind of thing. So you're going to have to just default on the fact that you're going to have to pay the man. Because you can't, Kobe White's not the future at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
Sorry. I hate saying that as a UNC fan.
For me, this team is better with Zach LaVine than without him. And him walking for nothing, I don't think they can really afford to do.
Right.
Now, with that huge contract and paying him all that money comes a time where it's difficult for the front office to bring in a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So all that money tied up in him, which apparently it really, if he went somewhere else, it'd be a 4-year deal. And if he was here, it was 5. It would be 5.
Yeah.
So it's the yearly money isn't all that totally different.
No.
It's not that far off.
No.
So it's, at this point for me, it's like, all right, well, since that's not all that different,
Yeah.
he might take a little less than the full max to stay here.
Right.
And that's so that way they can do a few more things, get some more shooters in here, maybe draft a big man,
Right.
find a big man elsewhere. But I think letting him walk for nothing is a mistake.
No, that's that. I mean, listen, if you let him walk for nothing, if you don't if you're gonna say we don't think we're gonna be able to keep him, he doesn't want to stay with us or whatever the case is, communication breaks down. I don't think that'll be the case, but let's say that does. If you don't pull off a sign-in trade with him,
Right.
that's going backwards. That's doing the old thing of Gar Forman and John Paxson,
Which I don't
letting
they
guys
won't,
go.
I don't think
No.
they're gonna do.
Carter Silvis and Eversley are too smart to say he's too valuable. He's probably right now, I would say, at peak earning ability as far as both money-wise and draft picks or prospects or whatever you're going to get for him at this point. So if you are going to say we just can't hold you, we can't afford the money, you need to take a pay cut so we can afford to bring other guys in. If he's not willing to do that, then you have to look for a sign-in trade, and that's where obviously there's a lot of names that we've kind of brought up over time that you could potentially push for. It's all just going to come down to, I think, where he fits best, where he probably wants to go, and I'm sure where Rich Paul, his agent, wants him to go.
Right.
There's obviously a lot of rumors on that stuff now, but you can't just let him just go to free agency and sign a contract. Otherwise, you're doing a disservice to this team, and you're going backwards. You're not going to get better. You're going to, in fact, go back to 40 wins, 39 wins, something like that. It's not going to be a good season again. And then people are going to be upset again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only way this thing really falls apart is if he just really doesn't want to be here anymore and decides to go.
Right.
And that's his choice.
Yeah.
And that would suck because then he would be gone for nothing.
Right.
And that would not help this team.
No. That would might even sink the franchise back.
Back
to its old
dark
dark
days. It would set them back some because
Yeah.
you see what you get without him.
Exactly.
We saw it in the playoff game.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
But going forward,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we need this team to put emphasis on the big.
Right.
Okay. Hopefully, the Bulls will be in the market for a big man.
Yeah.
Whether it's, like I said, in the draft or going out and signing somebody or trading for somebody,
Mhm.
whatever that is. Who'd you like to see them bring in, and what route do you think they're going to go with getting a bigger presence down low, a defensive presence, rim protection down
Yeah.
low?
Well, obviously that's the key thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we said, listen, Vooch, as much as the trade looked good at the time, he's obviously a liability at this point. He doesn't play enough defense. He's a great offensive-minded guy, great scorer when he can be. But
Double
overall,
machine.
Exactly. You need somebody that's gonna be able to hang with Giannis and Embiid. Like, if you're not gonna get a guy that's gonna be able to score or be, a two-way player like Giannis, which is impossible at this point. He's kind of a one of a kind, and so is Embiid.
Have to find somebody like that in the
Right,
draft.
and it's not easy. It's not gonna be simple. But I mean, you've got Vooch, who's obviously you have to find a way to, I think, move on from him. They're gonna try to do that. Obviously, Rudy Gobert is out there. We've heard the rumors now. Him in Utah. The word is that he's telling Utah it's him or me between him and Donovan Mitchell. Spoiler alert: they're probably gonna go with Donovan Mitchell. Unfortunately for Rudy Gobert, he just doesn't do enough point wise. Defensively, he's great, but defense usually only counts, it seems like, when it's playoff time. And anytime they've been in the playoffs, he's kind of disappeared at times when they've really needed him to actually kind of step up. So, and he is who he is. He's not going to change. I would also say look at Atlanta for Clint Capella, because I know Atlanta said was everybody except for Trae Young, I think, is on the block at this point. Like, everybody's up for grabs. So, I mean, and look, if you can get a package deal of him and like John Collins for like Vooch and Kobe White, because there's another guy that they're going to have to move on, Kobe White, because unfortunately at this point he's really streaky. So if you can move off of him and package a pick with it potentially, get both of those guys, you're shoring up your low post now essentially. There's a ton of guys you can aim at. Ayton, I know, is still a name that's out there.
Also looking for big money.
Also looking for big money.
Which,
and it's cheaper. It's cheaper than
right.
Rudy.
Yeah, I don't know how they work out if Zach's signing a supermax and then
Right.
Rudy Gobert's contract increasing
I feel
as
like
the years go on.
Yeah,
with it.
I feel
So,
like that would be like a 3-team trade. Like somewhere you would have to trade Zach to someone else.
Yeah.
They send the pick or something like that to Phoenix, and then Phoenix is sending DeAndre Ayton to the Chicago Bulls. But at the same time, too, I don't know where Ayton's at the same time as a player. Like this guy I thought should be like Joel Embiid, right? And instead we're kind of getting more of like, well, his numbers are kind of averaging out like Rudy Gobert, but he's not as good defensively from time to time. I don't know. This guy was supposed to be like mini Shaq from what everyone said. I don't know if that's going to happen. He's still got a lot of chances to grow with his game, but there's tons of big men that you can explore out there. It's just a matter of what's it going to cost, right? And I would say the two guys, it has to be Vooch, and I think it has to be Kobe White that have to be the essential pieces to that trade.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ayton would be a nice guy, but like to see a lot more consistency from a guy who's wanting that kind of money.
Yeah.
Big time money.
Absolutely.
So,
by the way, too, King BMAC asked us if we would be interested in James Harden. No, thank you. No, thank you.
No.
I'm all stressed out on players not wanting to play as it is. I can't stand it. And I can't stand it some more.
He wouldn't be good for this team. He wouldn't be good for the locker room. You see what happened with James Harden. I know that was a joke.
Right.
I know he's
right
saying that as a joke, but yeah, no.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, he also brings up too, like obviously he says something that's not talked a lot about is the fact that he never filed for the final opt-in with Philly, which is something we covered, is that the fact that he didn't file to stay with Philly for the year. So obviously this means that then he can kind of go and explore his options if he wants to as well. So that's going to be interesting. I don't want him anywhere near Chicago.
No.
He's clearly a chemistry buster. He's clearly a locker room distraction.
And he's just not the star that he was anymore. He's not that good of a player. He's showing you right now.
Right. I mean, he's become a more solid passing option. He's great leading at the point. But as a guy that you're saying, okay, go get a big bucket, like you see it right now. And I know we're going to get into that here soon, but you see it right now. He's struggling. And if that's the guy we're getting, don't need it. Yeah, exactly. I'd be bugging out too, James Harden, if I were you. So I totally, I'm against it. Yeah. King BMAX says, because I'm convinced he did it on purpose and he's going to bolt. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So,
yeah. And
not the Bulls, anywhere else.
Don't want that anywhere near us. How many teams has he been on?
Go to Orlando.
Seasons.
Go back to Houston.
Yeah.
Something.
Right. Well, also for this team, they still have the draft to come.
Yes.
So that's a positive thing. They're going to have the number 18th pick in this year's draft. It's outside the lottery.
Yep.
So because they were a good team, and this is what we want. So now is our time to go and find somebody who might be a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And we've seen RGM, AK, do that before.
Mm-hmm.
So any players you have in mind that you had seen at 18 you'd like to see the Bulls get?
I have said this before. I will say this again. He is right here in the home state. He is already kind of being predicted to go in the second round. Or I haven't even seen him on some draft board, so he might even go undrafted. But he is 7 feet tall. He is 260 pounds, and he has led the Illini for this last year now to a great season, nevertheless. Please go scout Kofi Coburn. Please go scout that kid. He is exactly what you're looking for. Now, here's the great thing, too. If you get Rudy Gobert, you get Coburn, that's your defensive big man, and that's your offensive big man. Talk about a Twin Towers 7-footer technique. That's exactly what you want. Well, they're not gonna mesh with each other. No, that's gonna be perfect. I think that's gonna be a perfect thing. Just tell them both, stand by the basket. Both of you go for the rebound. Who's out rebounding those guys? Seriously. Both of them are big, both of them are strong. And even if you don't get Rudy Gobert, let's say you sign Levine to the max deal, right? Tell me that man is not going to be able to produce and progress into that player, right? You have Vooch maybe as like, let's say Vooch stays, right? You have him as like your starter. You bring up Kofi Coburn over time. Find a way to be able to even out the playing time. Because let's be honest, Tony Bradley
is not
we tried.
not the answer.
We tried. It's just not going to work as a backup. This kid dunks it, blocks it, rebounds it, can steal it, can score it, can shoot a mid jumper. 3-pointing is not shooting. It's not there.
Right.
I'm not asking him to shoot 3-pointers. I'm asking him to rebound, block shots, and
play
dunk
defense.
and play defense and dunk it on everybody on the inside. Shack the hell out of them. Please put it right in their face. I think he would be great. I know it's a reach. A lot of people say take him in the second round. Well, the Bulls don't have a second round pick. But if he's there at 18, if they still have that 18th pick, mind you, if they don't trade it.
Right.
But if you have that pick, please really consider taking him because I think he would fit this team perfectly. He's your answer to Joel Embiid, Giannis, to Karl Anthony Towns, to all these guys you would have to match up with. He could be that answer. Because, by the way, he's also 22 years old. So you're getting kind of a
young and athletic,
mature man. And, oh, by the way, who did he play with? Io? So who's he going to have a good rapport with? Io? So how's the bench going to look? Pretty damn good, I would say. Just a thought, folks. Just a thought. Consider it, Bulls. I'm asking you.
Some high praise
just
for
consider it.
Kofi Coburn.
Yeah, I really like this kid. I think he's going to be a diamond in the rough. You can get him in the second round. That's another steal, I think, for them. That's another steal and another good move by Karnisovas.
Yeah, I mean, I trust what he's doing with this team has been a positive thing so far.
You have to.
So we've seen it. The production, the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
Okay? And it's on the court, and we saw it.
Absolutely.
They made the playoffs. While they went out 4-1, the improvement's there, the progression's there.
Right.
We see it.
The team chemistry is there.
Yep.
They're the building blocks. You've set the foundation. Now it's just time to start building the house. And then you can start adding on your little pieces here and there inside of it. And finally, when it's finished, hopefully you have a polished enough product to be able to say, we're holding up the wonderful trophy at the end of the season. Not going to say it, not going to say the C word, but you know what it is, folks. It's what we want.
That's the goal.
That's what they're leading up to, I think, at some point. It's going to come. It's going to break. Please.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
And while the Bulls didn't make it through the first round of the playoffs, there are still playoffs going on. So when we come back, we're going to dive into the playoffs that are happening right now, right here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. And we are back here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. I am still Drew Gwillem. This is still Andrew Valentin.
I am.
And we have some NBA playoffs to talk about.
That we do.
Some games, some series have been okay.
Yeah.
Some have been not so okay.
I overall, I will say this has been a lot more exciting than I thought. And I saw the rate. I don't know if you saw the ratings on these things. Actually up from last year. So
that's good.
I guess we can survive without LeBron James being in the playoffs, can't we, folks?
Always.
Just my shot at LeBron. Sorry.
Seeing him crying and watching on TV.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's got his own stuff going on, movies and all that.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, exactly.
But on the other side, his old team, the
Yeah.
Miami Heat, lead 2-0 on the 76ers. No Joel Embiid.
Yep.
Has that orbital fracture. It's a tough loss at the toughest time. And it is definitely shown because clearly James Harden can't be a guy that leads this team.
No, not
Tyrese
even
Maxey
close.
is their number 2. He's better than.
Which says a lot for Tobias Harris, by the way. The faith in him has pretty much been lost at this point.
Yeah. But so the Heat will be taking on at the Philadelphia 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
The spread is Miami -1. Over under 210.5. Who you got for this one?
Oh man. Well, so there is the possibility, I guess, Embiid is going to be back for this game.
I heard it was
confirmed out as this point.
I don't know if he was confirmed out, but I heard it was unlikely.
Okay, so it's doubtful at this point that he's going to play. I know there's a lot of talk that says, oh, some NBA execs are going to be there, so he's probably going to get like the MVP or something. Good for him. That's all fine.
Yeah.
He's got to play for this team to be able to win, and it shows, right? Like you said, James Harden, we just talked about him. James Harden can't lead a team. He's been held to under 25 points. I mean, look at that face. That's the face of a man that is shocked he's not scoring more than 20 points a game right now. He's been awful, and the rest of the team is not backing him up by any means. I mean, Tyrese Maxey's trying to do the best he can. Tobias Harris is limited right now because Miami's defense smothers them every single time. And if Embiid's not there, guess what? Bam Adebayo can have his way with everybody on that team.
Anybody else they throw at him.
Yeah, so honestly right now, the fact that they're giving Miami a point in this when you don't have Joel Embiid probably playing in this game, if he's playing, then yes, I would say it's a point for sure. Actually, even still, you know what? Even if he plays, I don't know. I may still I'm going to give Miami 7 on this, I think. I'll give Miami 7 on this just because I feel like they have figured it out for themselves, right? Jimmy Butler looks like he's back. He looks like he's rested. Tyler Hero's back on his stuff. He's left all that. Man. Yep. He's left all that stuff behind, all that off-field stuff, hanging out with Jack Harlow and all that. He's killing it right now. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a good song, man. I can't lie.
Bad.
It's not bad. But I'm giving him 7 on this one, and I'm gonna say I think it hits the under, and that's because Philly probably does not deliver. I don't think they even hit 100. If they hit 100 points, it's because Maxey probably is their leading scorer. Otherwise, 95, 96 points maybe at the end of it. Miami probably like 110, something like that. It's not gonna be as close as we think it is. Yeah. So.
And we've seen these 76ers come out at home and throw up a dud as well.
Right.
So I think not having Joel Embiid is a big loss.
Yes.
Offensively and defensively for this team. And I think, the Heat's defense has been smothering. And it's frustrating this team. You can see it. Look at James Harden's face. Whip it back up there again because he looks like he doesn't know what the hell to do anymore.
He looks like he's like a deer in the headlights. He looks shocked. I mean, look at that. That is the face of frustration, anger, rage, scared. I mean, whatever you want to come up with, that is a man that is like, I don't know what to do anymore. And I think one of my favorite things too, I don't know if you saw this, there's a tweet that was going around. A guy, second row of the 76ers behind the bench of the is taking a picture with the whole team and Doc's sitting there and he's like, yeah, Doc's not feeding him anything. And then he goes to the second game on game 2. He's still in the same spot and he goes, yeah, Doc's still not giving him anything. So, and you know what? And I honestly feel like there might actually be something there where it's like because of Doc Rivers' reputation, maybe with these around the league, these players might be buying into like, is Doc cursed maybe? Like, are we just like never going to do it because he's not getting it done? Like, I don't know. But it's possible.
Athletes can be very superstitious.
Very true. Yeah.
So I'm taking Miami. I'm going to say by 10. No Joel Embiid.
Double digits.
No Joel Embiid. Harden I don't know what you can expect from him anymore.
Yeah.
He's not that good anymore.
No.
And for what he wants to get paid, he better step up in these coming games. He's going to have to prove it to me before I'm going to give him more points than that. So I'm taking Miami by 10, and I'm with you on the under because I think the defense is good, and I don't think 76ers are going to score.
I feel like he's like the new age Dion Waiters for those that don't remember him. Like, got too fat for his own. I've never seen a shooting guard be 250 pounds and try to have a jump shot like he did. That was ridiculous. He doesn't jump. He's like me. I think like I'm getting high off the air, but it's like you could slit a piece of paper underneath me and I'd still probably crumple it no matter what. So, oh man, James Harden does it.
Yeah. Well, that's not even your least favorite.
No, it's not, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to him.
Yeah.
But in the next series, we have the Suns 2-0 in this series at the Mavericks.
Mhm.
Or 0-2.
Yep.
Spread's even on this one. Over under 219.5.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Chris Paul. Wow. Chris Paul.
He wants it.
Oh, he wants it bad.
He wants it.
Just to have a playoff game where you're perfect 14 for 14. That's ridiculous.
He's the point guard for a reason, folks. He is the point guard for a reason.
He makes everybody around him better. He is a true leader of a team.
Yeah.
And everywhere he's been, he's made that team better. And now he comes to this team, who was already pretty good.
They were in the finals last year.
And then he comes and they're in the finals. And
Yep.
between him and Booker,
I know.
they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. They're playing out of their mind right now.
They are so good.
And Dallas is a good team.
Yeah.
Luka
Yeah, they
Doncic might be one of the best players, or he is one of the best players in the league, but
Yeah.
he may be the best player in the league.
Yeah. There's an argument to be made there, sure.
At times he plays like it.
Absolutely.
So you think they can get back in this series?
I like the Bulls. We've said this before. It would take a 40. Well, he's already had a 45-point game as it is.
Yeah.
He's going to need to put on I'm almost saying a Jordan versus Celtics, which I know he didn't win that game, but still 50, 60 points in a playoff game. Because the problem that's starting to come up is that obviously Dinwiddie, who's great for the regular season for them, is now disappearing in the playoffs. You need that number 2 guy. He needs that solid number 2. Porzingis was never going to be it. Dinwiddie's not going to be it. He's a good 4, I would say, maybe even a slightly decent 3 maybe, but you need that solid number 2 that you can complement with him, and they don't have that. I'm hoping Jalen Brunson might be that guy. I was kind of hoping, but he's coming off the bench. There's not much that you can do, and when he does start, he's just used as the point guard. He's used to pass the ball. So I honestly think, I know it's spread. I can't believe it's even right now for the spread. I'm gonna say it's the Suns by 12, just because they don't have an answer for both Chris Paul and Devin Booker and Ayton. And if Mikal Bridges gets on his game, that's another guy you have to worry about. And if Cam Johnson's coming off the bench and shooting 15, that's another guy you have to worry about. There's just too much on that Phoenix team. I don't think they're going to be able to handle it. I see this hitting the over just because I think Dallas can certainly put up some points.
Yeah.
But I think that I will say it's a 12-point difference on this one with the Suns winning it. I think this is going to go to a sweep at this point.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No credit for Luka being able to lead his team to a one victory. Not one.
He might be able to do it.
Why do you hate Luka Doncic?
Oh, don't start it.
Why does he hate
There's
Luka
a
Doncic?
list of players.
Send us emails. Ask Andrew why he hates Luka Doncic.
No, stop ending. Don't send me emails why I hate Luka. I don't hate Luka. Promise you. I think he's a great player. I think he's probably a top 10 player in the league right now. And now I'm going to get stuff for that because, he's not top 5. No,
Okay, you heard it here.
Yeah,
he doesn't
right.
hate Luka Doncic.
I don't hate Luka. It's just he doesn't have. You need help, right? We see it with the Bulls, right? They needed help. The one time that they were able to do it, it was DeMar DeRozan doing it kind of by himself. Got a little bit of help. You need that number 2, number 3 guy to step up. He doesn't really have that.
Absolutely.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't think the Mavericks get this one.
Yeah.
I think they keep it closer.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting home is going to help. It's going to be nice to be at your home court.
Right.
The way the Suns have been shooting the first 2 games,
They're lights out right now.
they are lights out. But at some point they gotta miss some shots.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
I think it's here. I'm gonna give Suns the victory, but by 5.
Okay.
And I'm with you on the over because I think both teams are going to score a lot of points.
There's going to be a lot of back and forth on this. It's going to be a good game.
All right. Next, we have one that's been kind of a blowout on both first 2 games, but still kind of a fun series so far.
I love this.
The way it's been back and forth.
Yes.
We have the Celtics 1-1 at the Bucks.
Yeah.
The spread for Milwaukee -3, over under 213.
Oh, man.
Where you can see this one going? I know. Yeah. Not a clue?
Yeah, that's where I want to go. Honestly, I think this is going to go to Game 6 is going to be important. I think that Milwaukee will have the 3-2 lead going into Game 6. I think Boston takes Game 6, and then I think Boston can take Game 7. So I think Boston's going to win this series in a 7-game series. This series has been great. Giannis dominates the first one. Boston has a great team effort in the second game. It feels a lot like it's like the 300 or whatever you want to call it versus like a god at this point. Yeah. Essentially, it's an army of men versus like what seems to be the unstoppable force that is Giannis. But I think they can do it. I think they're a good enough team that it's like, and it's that strategy of, okay, if he's going to score all the points, then all we have to do is stop everybody else around him, and we can win this game. And that's what they've been.
And they can do it.
And they can do it. And they've got the guy, and so Marcus Smart is saying, nah, Drew, you're not getting any easy shots on this one. He's been great defensively. There's a reason why he won Defensive Player of the Year. This team, I think, is going to pull it off. I'll say it is Boston. I'll give them Boston. I will give 4 on. I'll give forward of Boston. I think they can pull this off. I'll say the under though, because it just feels like it's a defensive stopper on this one, and this may be a low scoring game too. I'm talking like both of them hitting in the 90s on this game, because it just feels like they're ready to start. There might even be a fight in this game. They're ready to start throwing down, I think, with each other. They're not backing down from each other, and that's what makes this series so great.
Absolutely. My favorite moment was when Jaylen Brown
I knew it.
Just made that little turd Grayson Allen look like a fool.
Crossed
him up. He ended up on his ass.
Some solid defender.
And the look on his face. Yeah. That was the best moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely been a fun series.
Mm-hmm.
Back and forth. Yeah, it's been a whole team effort from the Celtics to get that win, but they at the same time their guys stepped up. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum put on a show.
They're the dynamic duo right now.
They sure the hell are. And you've got other guys around, even without Marcus Smart in this game.
Yeah,
they still came out and played really well.
Right,
and got a big win.
Yeah.
Now they're going to Milwaukee. I think it's going to make it. They're not going to win by that much, have that much of a point differential.
Yeah,
but I think they could still win it.
Right.
I think I'm actually going to give this one to Milwaukee.
Okay.
Because it's game going home.
Yeah.
I think they're going to take the first one. I think Celtics take the one after.
Okay.
But so I'm going to give Milwaukee, the 3. I'm going with the 3, and I'm actually going with the over because I think both offenses are, while they have good defenses, both offenses are still very good, and you're not going to hold them down.
Yeah, they're both running on extra rocket fuel at this point. They're ready. Yeah, they're raring to go. So I can't wait for this game.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
On another really, really fun series.
The best matchup. The best matchup.
Awesome. Yep.
The best one.
We talked about them yesterday and starting a franchise with them. We have the Grizzlies at the Warriors. This series is tied 1-1. Spread Golden State -7, over under 225.5.
I think Golden State takes this one. Man, I don't like saying this. I do think they take the series in 6. And that's just because Memphis is young. And I feel like their whole thing is get more experience. Add another piece to that roster, build the bench a little bit more. I mean, let me stress this. They're already a solid team as it is. Doesn't mean you can't add a little bit more firepower to that team, obviously. But I honestly think that this is going to be a closer game. I'm going to give it Golden State winning it, but I'm going to only say by like 2 points, maybe 2.5. I'm going to say this hits the over. Golden State looks good, and they're doing a really good job by letting Jordan Poole kind of run the point right now and telling Steph to come off the bench. And I think this is a kind of slow movement to the passing of the torch. Because Jordan Poole right now
is the future.
Yes, I was gonna say he looks like the future guy that I don't know if he's gonna be
Steph. Where'd he play?
He played at that school that lost to Michigan State, right in Appalachian
Andrew,
State.
where'd he play?
He played at
Andrew.
Played at the school that lost
Andrew.
to Michigan
Okay,
State.
say it or you are going to be in a hole somewhere. Say their name.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan.
that's right.
He went to Michigan. I know. I wanted to.
I still say your teams.
I know.
Okay?
I just wanted to need a little more from yesterday.
Yeah, all right.
But no,
Is that a good idea?
Yeah, I know. I'm making bad choices in life right now, on this end at least. But he's been great on the development. He's great. I mean, he looked like he was going to be a solid bench player. That's what I thought. He's obviously going to turn into more of that. Again, is he going to be the next Steph Curry? I don't know if he's going to get to that level. Steph is a totally different player in every way. Could he be, though, the next evolution of what they're looking for to transition to the next era? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think it's also going to depend on what happens with Wiseman as well. He's got to come around too. But if you get both of those guys hitting, you've got your point guard running at the top of the key. You've got your man down low as your big man. The future looks bright. Their issue right now is obviously going to be Klay Thompson, because he's played terrible right now. So he's got to step up his game. I think they can still find a way to win it. But I love the aggression. I love the passion. Yeah. I love the energy they're bringing. Yeah. I do think Golden State's going to win this, but nevertheless, this could go 7 games. But I think it will go 6 just because Golden State's got the experience.
Yeah, I think when you can flip-flop whether you're starting Steph or starting Jordan Poole and one of the other is coming off the bench, and either way you put it, they're both dropping 30.
It's so not fair.
They can drop 30.
Such a cheat code. Such a cheat code.
Just that speaks to the quality of organization they have and the development of their players. He wasn't doing this last year.
No, nobody thought he was going to ever be something like this. They thought
I knew he was a good player. He was a very good player at Michigan. He had his moments where he was on fire. Yeah. And he was just draining shots. Draining shots. But now you're seeing that on a consistent basis from him. And he's doing it in the biggest moments.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be like a leader for the team.
Their third Splash Brother.
Yeah, I was like, oh, God, no. Yeah. God, no.
It is. They've already talked about it. It wasn't my doing, okay?
No, that's true.
Right? It's already out there.
Not fair.
It's in the cloud.
Not cool, Golden State. Not cool.
Yeah, I think this Grizzlies team is really good.
Yeah.
I think they still, they're very young. They have that next step to take. Mm-hmm. And Golden State is just better than them right now.
Yeah.
And more experienced. So I think
now.
Yeah, for now.
For
because
now.
Ja can come out and score 47 on you.
Yeah.
And lead you to a win.
I'll say this real quick right now too. After this year, if Golden State doesn't pull it off, it's the Grizzlies, and if the Nuggets get healthy, it's the Grizzlies and the Nuggets in the West.
Yeah.
Unless Chris Paul just decides I'm going to play another 10 years or whatever at this level.
He might if he keeps playing.
Really
if he keeps playing this well, why would you not keep going on that team?
He's the Tom Brady of the NBA at this point.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Too bad he doesn't have enough rings, but he may do it.
I hope he wins one.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as the game spread goes, I'm gonna take Golden State by 5.
Okay.
And then I'm taking the over. Both these teams can score.
Like
I feel like there's no choice. Now, that is it for the playoffs. We're going to just take one deep breath. Andrew, exhale. Okay. We are going to jump in to your favorite NBA player of all time. Back-breaking Ben himself.
We'll make this quick, I promise.
Okay. Yeah, that's what he always says. Then when it comes to Ben Simmons, it just ends up being a rant. So I hope everyone's ready for the rant. I know I am. I'm excited. I'm really excited to hear this.
Look at that skill on the sidelines.
The Brooklyn Nets, Ben Simmons, underwent back surgery today on a herniated disc. Mm-hmm. So if we could say anything out of this, we know he wasn't faking it.
Right.
So it wasn't a fake of an injury.
No.
Due to other reasons.
Absolutely.
Whatever. So go.
I listen, I even admitted I did believe that he was hurt. I will always take the idea that a player saying he's hurt means that he's hurt. But if we find out at some point that this was something that happened that like later on, like it was something that happened like while he was sitting out because he wasn't working out or he wasn't putting in, the time and the effort to make sure he got the care for himself or anything like that, then you stupid sucker, again, you've completely just ditched every opportunity for your career. I understand it's a herniated disc. I know those are painful. You cannot play through those. It's very hard. I totally understand. But I was hearing Rob Parker being like, anybody who tried to play doctor or anybody who tried to say he doesn't care about basketball, they crossed the line when they did that. Homie, we can judge him all we want. You know why? Because he has no more equity with us giving a you-know-what about him anymore. He's lost every opportunity because of his attitude. That's the biggest problem with him. Yes, congratulations. You're getting back surgery to fix a herniated disc. I hope he recovers. I hope he's healthy. And I hope he comes back to the NBA and actually plays like an NBA player. Because guess what? Up until this point, he has not. He has been a complete liability on the offensive side of the ball. He can't hit a free throw. He can't hit a three-pointer. He shouldn't be playing point guard. He should be a power forward.
He looks fresh, though.
He looks fresh, though. He looks like he just got dipped in Skittles juice at this point. I mean, this...
Who doesn't like Skittles?
I mean,
are you saying you hate Skittles now?
If it looks like Ben Simmons, then yes, I hate Skittles now at this point, okay?
You heard him here live on the X-Bomb Sports Live show.
Ben Simmons
Ask
has made
Andrew
me not
at our
like Skittles.
Gmail why he hates Skittles, Luka Doncic, and Ben Simmons.
Ask me why I hate a lot of things. You know what really grinds my gears? Ben Simmons. That's what he does. Listen, great for you. You're getting the surgery. I'm genuinely glad he's getting himself fixed. He's getting himself an opportunity to play more, to play longer, to relieve the pain. I know it hurts a lot, okay? You were injured. I will give you that. But it's everything else that preceded the season that was just nonsense. If you had said this was your back at the beginning of the year, which I know that it was like, yeah, I might have tweaked a little something or like there was a few things that came up, but it was never like, I think it's something serious like this. Did you not go to the doctor? Did you not go get checked out? Did you have nobody analyze you to say, hey, you know what? You might want to go get this fixed. And you're like, yeah, I'm good. Or is it a herniated disc because of the fact that you sat on the couch for so long that your back just decided to bend in that area where all of a sudden the disc just decided to pop out all of a sudden? So you be the judge of that, unfortunately, America. But I will say that, yes, he was legitimately injured, but nevertheless, this does not take away from the fact that he's still a sorry sucker of an NBA player that should not be in the NBA. He should be lucky that anybody even wants him on his franchise. In fact, at this point in time right now, he should be lucky that there's even opportunities out there for him to go play in China, Japan, or even Australia. Oh, wait, again, they don't even want you on the national team, so why would they want you in your country? Okay, I'm good.
Enough said. I'm not going to touch that. Ben Simmons, I hope you have a successful recovery from back surgery and make it back to the NBA.
I do
nice
as well.
Safe.
And get your mentality right.
Yeah. Well, we actually, along with Ben Simmons having problems, we have a major league sport that has tons of problems.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to get into that when we come back on the X-Bomb Sports Live show.
Yep.
Hey, watch your mouth. Wine. I'll just put a quarter in the swear jar. Once it's filled, we get a Coors party after work. I've been drinking Coors since my college days. The cold draft taste, the second none. Yeah, worth a recorder, am I right? You know it, mother. Hey,
You get those sports done?
yeah. No. You, sir. Attention, employees.
The staff meeting, scheduled for this evening, will now be held tomorrow early as
Who's all? Dudes, we're only 75 cents short. Oh, shh. Boss. Hey, sir, go yourself. You're fired! I still get beer.
Welcome back to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show, and we're here for your problems. You've got problems. We've got problems. And
Everybody.
Major League Baseball has problems.
Yep.
Tons of them.
Absolutely.
Tons of them.
Mm-hmm.
They are missing by a mile on many, many avenues. This 2022 Major League season has not started off the way we had hoped.
Yeah.
And there's not many solutions coming our way.
No, it's been a messy. It's only been like a month or whatever it is. Yeah, disappointed Bobby Bonilla indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Disappointed Bobby Bonilla indeed. Not happy with baseball season. It's just been a mess. I mean, you see it right now that the pitchers, I mean, they're on and off. The hitters are completely down at this point. The guys are still getting hurt like crazy. There's a lot on this, and I know we're gonna get into more of the details on it, but just an overall feeling on the season so far. And I think this is something that we should have seen coming, considering that we had 99 days off the baseball season because of the lockout.
Right.
That has certainly caused, I think, was kind of the precursor to what I believe was going to come, which has now been just a trudging baseball season at this point in time. So I'm left out of words at this point for the overallness, hoping that maybe it can get better over time.
Yeah, from everything from these games being played in the cold weather these cold weather rainy games that some being canceled due to snow. Just crazy weather going on around here, just a lot colder than normal, and they're just not being good production on the field, even from that to the balls being different.
Yeah.
It's crazy the way this league has gone and the way they're not trying to keep fans in.
Right.
If anything, they're pushing people away.
Yeah.
And I love baseball.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they're ruining it.
Yeah, obviously they're trying to solve some of the issues and solutions, but with Rob Manfred kind of at the control of things as commissioner, and that whole front office kind of leading the charge, essentially, that regime, if you will, kind of leading the charge for baseball. Manfred is a guy who I think wants to try and keep things with as is, along with while trying to see if he wants to try and have the best of both worlds. And I don't think that's possible, right? You either have to progress or you have to try and keep things the same. Keeping things the same right now are kind of leading to dropping off numbers. People are not tuning in on television anymore. You try to progress, well, you're losing the old heads and stuff. And quite frankly, if you're not making it more entertaining, if you're not getting more scoring and stuff, the youth of America is not really watching. So there's a lot of things that you need to progress with, right? I mean, one of the big things obviously is the offense right now. I mean, the batting average and the slugging percentage are down significantly.
I think a lot of that has to do with the cold, but a lot of that has to do with the ball as well.
Yeah.
So the year that everybody was like, oh my God, there's home runs left and right, scoring is through the roof.
Right.
Because the ball was different. And now the influx of this ball this year, this ball next year, there shouldn't be that much change.
Right. Oh, and that's the thing. Like right now,
that, I mean.
Right. Yes.
Change like that.
Yes. I think I read it was like 3 of the wool windings have been loosened up, which are now leading to less bounciness on the ball. So it's not obviously coming off the club. It's not flying out. So the distance is significantly different now when you're hitting the ball. The exit velocity is different. So now, should have probably been a home run is now coming off the back wall, and now you might get guys in scoring position, or it's going to be an easy rob now for the outfielder if he's in perfect position. So because you can see it now, guys who are usually home run hitters, they're pop flying it up in the middle of left field, or they're putting it out in deep center field where it's easily caught. Now, for no longer are we going to probably see the 50 home run guy. I mean, there might be a couple of them. Maybe it's still a long season. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you got 2 guys right now for the Yankees that are at 10, if I'm not mistaken, with Rizzo and good old Judge at this point leading the charge. But I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain that all season long, considering how we've seen the year progress out with hitting right now. Everybody's striking out. Everybody's grounding out. It's really all. It's good baseball if you like baseball, sure, but it's not good baseball if you're the casual sports fan, and that's the problem.
And while you're in it on the offense, talking about it already, why don't you just read those stats up so everybody can hear exactly what kind of nonsense we've been dealing with?
Yeah, so I mean, we'll throw that up there for you too, so you can see folks. So this is the 2022 stats, the average across the baseball league right now. You've got just over 4 runs a game. You've got just under 8 hits a game. You have just under 1 home run. You have just under 4 RBIs. You have just about 4.5 strikeouts. And the slash right now for the league is 232, 306, and 370. That's not good. That is bad. That is bad. So bad. And considering that last year it was not too far off, these have been the worst 2 years for baseball, I will say, in terms of production. And really just to try and sell to a whole new fan base. It's the young crowd that you want to come in. These numbers, now granted, if you're a kid, you don't understand these numbers, what do you care? But if you're somebody who wants to get into baseball, you want to get into the in-depths of it, you see these numbers, you're going, what the hell am I looking at? Why am I going to the ballpark? Why am I watching this game on TV for 4 hours if all I'm seeing is a strikeout? Granted, pitching, I mean, you're getting some great pitching outings, that's fine. But pitching is not what's going to sell baseball, unfortunately.
Balls in play, balls going over the fence, those kinds of things, while still getting these great pitching performances out of these players.
Yes. And
so it's got to be a mix, but guess what? There's got to be some offense. And hopefully once the weather turns, we'll see a lot more of that. But
yeah,
it remains to be seen.
Absolutely.
Like we have already talked.
Yes.
There's literal changes to this baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
The pitchers can tell. They can feel it. From the catchers, they handle the ball the most.
Yeah.
Okay? They feel it all the time. Every time the ball's in play, it's because the pitcher had it in his hand.
Yeah.
He knows the difference between what they were using a few years back and what they're using now.
Oh, yeah.
So why is there such an influx of baseballs that Major League Baseball is using, and why are they keep doing this?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're always trying to adjust to try and even the playing field on the game, essentially, right? Last year, had a bunch of home runs that were being hit, right? The ball was wound really tight. Obviously, a lot of people are smacking it, and then you have the loss of the sticky stuff for pitchers. Obviously, that creates a lot more difficulties now for pitchers to be able to throw certain pitches and stuff. So now things might be easier down the middle, so there's even more home runs. Now you're saying, let's loosen the ball up. Let's let the bounciness kind of get out of it. So now if you're hitting the ball, all of a sudden it's kind of making a little bit more impact on the inside. It's not really kind of coming off the bat. You're essentially kind of like laying into the bat, and then it's kind of coming off. So it's going to lose more of its velocity on that. I know this is all like, I'm not using science mumbo jumbo and all that stuff because I'm not going to get all the technical analytics, and that I spend hours looking at that stuff and I got a headache. So just overall, essentially it's like balls pressing into the bat rather than the balls just bouncing off the bat. So it's not going to go as far. So now it's going to be easier for guys to be able to play it on the field. Obviously, that's a greater opportunity for you to ground it out. You potentially pop it up, all that kind of stuff. It adds more variables now to the hitter, right? But that essentially then will also drop his average. So, and we're at a time now too. I mean, let's not color it any other than what it is. They're trying to hit home runs. Everybody wants to hit home run. Everybody wants to hit the big shot. That's what baseball wants. That's what the MLB wants to see. That's what fans want to see. And when you're doing that, you're trying to throw the club of the bat as hard as you can at that ball.
Yeah.
And now the ball's going this way, it's going that way, it's going up, it's going down. I mean, if you don't have good control of your ability to swing the bat, which I think a lot of these guys may have not gotten a good handle, which I don't understand because you should know your swing by this point if you've been playing in the league long enough. But if you're not getting a good handle on that at this point, then something's up. I mean, and by the way, too, the other thing is obviously the humidity. I know that's a thing that people are kind of like, really, that affects a baseball? It does, believe it or not.
They actually put the baseballs in humidors right now.
Yes, humidors, which I believe are tempered around. TJ, back me up. I don't know if you know it. Is it 56 degrees? Do you know it? It's 56 degrees. Okay, that's the humidors kind of thing. But obviously, it's been a very moist. Sorry, folks. It's been a very.
I like it.
Yeah, it's been a very wet, if you will, kind of month. I mean, a lot of rain, a lot of confused Bobby Bonilla. Absolutely, or indifferent Bobby Bonilla, however you want to put it. I call him a baseball genius, nevertheless. But still, it makes a difference. It really does. And like if you hold a baseball, like if you get used to holding it enough times, be it a pitcher or even just throwing the ball, you can feel a slight difference when there is more humidity in the air. It's adding something to the ball. It does it with the bat as well, right? If there's more moisture in the air, it can affect the bat. That's why guys have them in bags. Some guys have them wrapped in plastic.
That's
for
why
crying out loud.
That's why it's a summer sport.
Yeah.
And you see more offense during those summer months when the weather is hot.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that right now can probably save them is that when the summer comes around, it's probably going to be blazing hot. I'm only assuming because it's been so cold lately that the heat's going to come down, which is going to be great then because that means no moisture in the air. That means the ball can travel farther. That means the bats are going to be not as, as warped or whatever the case is. You don't have to worry about those things. There's going to be, and not only that too, but let's be honest, a lot of these guys are coming from warmer climates, right? Arizona, California, coming from the South American, the Caribbean and all that stuff. How many of these guys are really used to kind of that cold? I mean, Abreu said, I've been here for how many years, and you still never get used to it from time to time when you're out there for 3 hours or whatever it is. It's a lot. I've lived here my whole life, and I'll still tell you, if the wind hits me just the wrong way, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm gonna go back inside. I'm gonna hang out there and wait for it to calm down. So, but yeah, the ball's definitely the change. The change needs to. You need to find a good balance.
More consistency.
More consistency. Yes, absolutely.
Now, along with more change, we need to find a way to progress. Progression.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. So the average time for game
in
2022 so far have been 3 hours, 6 minutes with attendance scattered. I think that can kind of account for weather.
Yeah.
Weather gets better. Kids are out of school.
Absolutely.
That's why they're not getting a lot of attendance for these games.
Right.
People are still in school, and it's not summer yet. So
right.
It's hard. But what do you think they can do to quicken these games so they're not so long that normal people can't sit down for 3+ hours to watch a baseball game?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm still somebody who's in favor of the pitch clock. I know that's probably not going to happen because I know baseball players will probably vote against it. The union will say, no, this is ridiculous. Either lengthen the time or we're not going to do this at all. But it's you have to speed up the game. I'm sorry, you do. Like, it's nice that it went down from 3 hours, 11 minutes last year to now 3 hours, 6 minutes now. That's great. You're cutting off time. Problem is, it's still 3 hours, right? Like a Quentin Tarantino movie or whatever it is like 3 hours, and I can barely hold myself through those. All right? Like Casino's 3 hours, okay? And if
the new Batman is 3 hours.
The new Batman's 3 hours,
Yeah.
and you better like the new Batman. Spoiler alert for myself, didn't like it, but that's just me. Yell at me about that now, folks. Come on, bring it on.
Twilight.
Yeah, right. But overall, you've got to, I think, cut it down. At least get it to like around 2 hours, 45, 50 minutes, something like that. You have to try and cut the time down, especially, and it's not just for the audience that's going to the ballpark. It's for the TV audience especially. As for the attendance, it's been scattered, yes, because of the weather. The weather's been terrible. Obviously, why would you go to a ball game? But then you got a team like the A's who their fan base is against the Rays, and I think it was even against the Giants, if I'm not mistaken, averaged only like 2,500 people in the stands in total. You're talking about astronomically insane numbers that shouldn't be happening in a ballpark.
Are the A's that good right now?
No,
they
of course
just
not.
got rid of everyone.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They're
And
all gone.
And that's why the fan base is kind of dropping off.
Yeah.
Of course, I can understand that. But you can't. But when you're having those results, I mean, even in Tampa still, they're having scattered attendance. Look at where they play. I know that place is not exactly great, but again, they're a winning ball club. Why are they still not getting the fans in? You have to find a way to get the fans into these low market areas. Again, I know Cincinnati's still loading up there, and they're the worst team in baseball right now.
3 wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're still loading up the fans at this point in their ballpark. But you have to find a way to not only help your attendance in the ballpark, but you have to be able to help it on the TV side. Because I'll tell you right now, as far as the ESPN kind of the way that they've been going right now, their numbers have kind of been just lulling all over the place. They're not finding any success right now with baseball. They need to find a way to amp it up. And whatever Rodriguez's A-Rod's thing is or whatever, it's not going to help it. That Manning cast mumbo jumbo for baseball, it's just not working. It's just not going to work on the same level, unfortunately. I get it, and it's not a bad idea, but you're also picking a guy that a lot of people just do not want to hear from and do not want to watch. Smart guy. You could say decent baseball player, but at this point, baseball needs to make major adjustments to attract the fans into the ballpark now, or at least start planning for the summer, and then start making the adjustments for what they can do to help with the television ratings, because it's not getting any better.
Yeah, I think a pitch clock is definitely the way to go. They've used it in the minors, and it's worked. It's shortened the games down.
Absolutely. I know
And
they're frustrated with it, but you've got to find an answer to shortening the games.
Yeah, and that's a good one.
Yeah.
And there's, again, proof in the pudding.
Right.
You see it in the minor leagues games, right? In the majors. See if it works. If it doesn't, you go away from it.
Right.
It doesn't have to be something that's there all season long. But
Right.
you should at least try it in spring training or something.
Yeah, give it a shot.
it a go.
See what it's like. I know the union will be like, "This is ridiculous. We're voting it down no matter what." They're already against it, and they haven't even used it. But give it a go. See what it's like. Adjust. That's what it's all about. Adjusting to the times.
Well, one thing I know for sure is baseball's problems are not going to be solved today.
Nope.
And,
It's because Brandon's not here.
well, that too. But also because that's all the time we have.
Yep.
We are done.
Yes, sir.
Show is complete.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a pretty damn good one.
Absolutely.
I think we did well.
I think we did. I think you did excellent, Drew.
It's- even though you escaped from your locked box in a hole somewhere.
He didn't feed me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Babu Bonilla's sad. Absolutely. Random Bonilla, folks. Hope you enjoy it. Random Bonilla. Hope you like it. Thank you, TJ.
Well, thanks for having me host. Thanks
Absolutely.
for talking sports with me as usual.
Of course,
And
man.
Tell everybody where they can hear you and find you.
Yeah, you guys can find me, obviously. I'm at Boom Crew Captain on Instagram. That's where you guys can mostly find me. Otherwise, you guys can always find me right here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. We have some news in the works. I'm not going to say anything yet. We're going to iron out the details, but we've got some stuff we're going to be able to announce here pretty soon. So keep your eyes out on that. We're making some conversions. We're going to also be updating some stuff as well. So be on the lookout for that too. So, but yeah, you guys can find me right here on X-Bomb Sports every Wednesday, Thursday. I'm either hosting or co-hosting with Drew here. Or if not, you can find me obviously on Blow the Whistle on the radio and on the TV side too from time to time.
Yep. And as well, you can find me here, sometimes hosting, sometimes co-hosting, X-Bomb Sports Live Show. And check me out on Instagram at ddocwill25 and Facebook at Drew Gwillem.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't have to do everyone. Don't worry. Just here's the podcast.
Here's
There
a
we go.
podcast. We
Yep.
got a podcast or
Yes.
two or
Yep.
three or four. But you can follow us on our page on Facebook. We got updates posted all the time. Our shows are streaming live there.
Yes, sir.
You know, if anytime there's somehow we're not going to be here, there'll be a post to let you know
Absolutely.
that, hey, we're not going to be able to make the show today.
Yep.
Something is going on. Life happens.
Absolutely.
It's okay. Check us out on Instagram at XBomb Sports, Instagram and Twitter, both the same. We will hopefully be doing some good things with some social media
Yes, sir.
in the future as well. If things pan out,
They might. We are working towards some
we
good
will
stuff.
be working towards some good things and be doing a lot more with social media.
Absolutely.
Any questions, comments? You want to ask why Andrew has so much hate in his heart for professional athletes and Skittles? I don't get it. It's one of my favorite
You
candies.
think I hate Skittles? Are you kidding me?
He said it. He said
You
it.
think
We
I
heard
hate
you.
Skittles?
We heard you.
Really?
Okay, we heard you.
I do
Or you
love
can check us
Reese's.
out at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we can find out why you hate Skittles.
I'll answer all your questions, folks.
And then we have a bunch of podcasts.
Yes, we
this
do.
and that. Podcasts about this.
Absolutely.
Podcasts about that.
Yeah.
But that's a radio show. That would be
yes.
Blow the Whistle. They are every Tuesday.
Yep. Every Tuesday.
Right here.
Yep. Live show.
Yep. Hopefully we can get Brandon back in here one of these days.
Yeah, well, he's big time right now,
Yeah,
folks,
he
at
is big
94.3
there.
WMKR. Doing good stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
And don't forget about his podcast. Baseball Banter with Brandon. This dude
Too
knows
much alliteration, man.
Yeah, B-B-D-B-D-B-D. Triple
Yes,
B's.
sir.
He knows a lot about baseball, so
Yes, he does.
take a listen to that. You'll learn a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Check out Superstar Hannah B on Monday Motivation.
Oh, man.
Mondays suck. She
Yeah.
gets you going.
Absolutely.
Very inspirational
Yep.
stories. Very motivational.
Yeah.
And she is also on 102.3 XLC. And
Yeah, well, let's do it for her, by the way. Shout out to Hannah B.
congratulations to Hannah B. is now the morning co-host of 96.7
Yep.
with Eddie from Old Eddie and Jobo.
That's right. She's working with Eddie Volkman, folks. She's rising up that ladder, ladies and gentlemen.
She's a rising star for sure.
Absolutely.
She's great at what she does, and she's taking advantage of every opportunity she's had, and she's doing a killer job.
If only she could just hang out with people on their birthdays.
Somebody said.
Somebody said.
But congratulations to you, Hannah. That's awesome. We're very happy for you.
Absolutely.
Also, check out our guys, Kendall Gill and Tony Lopez,
Yep.
also known as Tilo, on the parlay for your combat sports needs.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are excellent, very knowledgeable of what they do with combat sports, and they'll give it all to you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all we have. We got it all.
Yes, sir.
Flew right through it.
Absolutely.
It was like a dream.
Yeah. And you didn't even need the sheet in front of you.
And I didn't even have to read Word Up magazine.
No. Very, very, very well said.
Okay, and on that note,
There's so many people that got that reference.
yeah, probably. Well,
That's
I'm
great.
okay. I'm a little older, so it was like
I appreciate it.
that was my time.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, thank you. But everybody, thank you for listening, watching, however you took us in.
Mhm.
We appreciate it. We can't do what we do without fans, so
Absolutely.
thank you very much. And we hope you have a safe and wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week right here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show.